Hi guys, this is GSMDome and I'm here with the review of the Google Pixel 9a. It's supposed to be a mid-range phone which has a pretty affordable price tag of $499 and it's a huge rival for the iPhone 16e. It comes with pretty large bezels at the front side, but the same CPU, the Google Tensor G4 as the Google Pixel 9 series, and the same 6.3-inch screen, but it's one of the brightest screens on the market. $499 is the price tag. We received the latest update which allows Gemini to basically use the camera and you can talk to it live about anything you see around you. We have a new design for the camera, supposed to be replicated on the future Pixels. The visor is now gone, and I would say a pretty solid battery. The device is available in a few colors, but let's get straight to the review since the intro is done. Okay, so first things first, the colors. We have here the black version, which is called Obsidian. There's also Porcelain, which is white or beige. There's also Iris, which is violet or blue, and Peony, which is magenta or pink. Okay, so the camera doesn't protrude. This is a very flat phone, flat back, flat sides and flat front. It does look a bit like the iPhone if you look at it from the side, but the camera module is surprisingly discreet. Gone is the visor of the predecessor. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so the device is very compact and easy to use, even though a couple of years ago 6.3 inches would have been a large diagonal. It's not. As usual, I would say that the buttons have a weird placement. So this is the power and this is the volume. I'm used to having the volume at the top and the power below it. Yeah, so yeah, there's also a plastic back here. Keep that in mind. People may be saying it's actually glass or metal. No, it's actually recycled plastic. We have Gorilla Glass 3 protection for the screen and IP68 certification for dust and water. Now, here the frame is made of aluminum, and some people have been polarized by the look of the camera and the thickness of the bezels. I have to admit, they're quite thick. Okay, so I would say it's a pretty thick phone, and I would say pretty well balanced when it comes to the weight, but the bezels will definitely take you out of the experience. Now, as far as the screen is concerned, it's a 0.2-inch increase from the predecessor, so from 6.1 inches it jumps to 6.3 inches. We also have here a 2700 nits panel. It's an Actua display P-OLED 6.3-inch Full HD Plus screen, Gorilla Glass 3 protection, always on display, 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR support, but the bezels have a 83.5% screen to body ratio, so that's not exactly flattering. This is the experience. I would say it's pretty immersive, and the punch hole isn't that big. Excellent color calibration, wide view angles, as you can see for yourself. Excellent contrast in the sun, and one of the brightest panels I've ever used. I actually had trouble configuring it for a proper review. Now you're going to witness that yourself, that the panel is very bright. It's actually in top 3 all time. I've tested 600 phones and this is what we achieved here, 1821 lux. It's superior to the Galaxy S25 Ultra, the iPhone 16 Pro Max, only surpassed by the Realme GT7 Pro and Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. As you can see for yourself, the panel got very bright with a white background. So 1821 lux. Pretty impressive. Now, when it comes to the innards of the phone, we go to this IDA app. And this is the CPU, the Google Tensor G4, which we saw on the entire Pixel 9 series. It's made by Samsung. It's supposed to be a recycled Exynos. It's a 4nm chip, unlike those cool 3nm which are going around right now. And the phone comes in various configs, but we have the one with 8GB of RAM, LPDDR5X, as well as 128GB of storage. You can also get versions with 256. There's no micro SD, and I'm actually curious to see how we did in the CPU throttling test, because we should have that here. The CPU throttling test is a test which definitely, well, I would say highlights the performance of the phone. It's very intensive, perhaps even more than a game. It took 15 minutes. And as you can see, we lost quite a bit of performance here. So we lost 37% of performance after 15 minutes of running it. It's, I would say, around the same area as the Pixel 9. The Pixel 9 even loses 50%. Pixel Pro XL loses 58%. So I would say we're doing better, but pretty much as bad as the Galaxy S25 Ultra if I were to compare it. Now, if you're looking at on 2 to 10, here's the score, 37 spot, just above the Galaxy Z Flip 5 and Honor 200 Pro. One is a mid-ranger, one is a, I would say, older Flip flagship. If you're looking at Geekbench 6, here we are, above Huawei P60 Pro and the Pixel 9, and in the multi-core, just above the Zenfone 10 and Huawei Pura 70 Ultra. So we're surpassing phones from 2 years ago, but not more than that. In the 3D department, we're fighting mid-rangers at the Galaxy A56 with this score. We're also fighting Motorola Edge 60 Fusion, so that's where we're at. If you're wondering about the temperature, we achieved 37.2 degrees Celsius when it comes to benchmarks, and in games we achieved 31.5, so the cooling is done reasonably. Now on the battery front, I have to say I'm mighty impressed. We have a 5100 mAh unit here. Keep in mind that the Pixel 8a had a 4492 mAh unit and the Pixel 7a 4300, while the Pixel 6a 4410, something like that. Now the charging is now 23 watts via wire, 7.5 watts wireless. It increased by 5 watts compared to the predecessor, so this is the biggest battery that any Pixel phone has ever had, so I'm curious to see how it performs. When it comes to the video playback, it definitely delivers a huge amount, 33 hours and 39 minutes, beating flagships like the Sony Xperia 1 Mark VI, Honor Magic 6 Pro. Basically it beats all the phones we've ever tested, 600 phones, except for an Oppo, Honor and Realme. That's it. It's not a coincidence. We're also getting a huge PC mark result here in continuous usage, 20 hours and 30 minutes, above Realme 14 Pro, Xiaomi 15, the entire S25 series from Samsung, any Honor phone, which are usually hardcore in this area, and any Oppo phone. So very solid battery life. Charging is a bit long, 1 hour and 33 minutes with a base 100 watt charger, and after 30 minutes you're at 50%, which should be enough considering how good this phone is with, well, battery life. When it comes to acoustics, we have stereo speakers. Now this is the one at the bottom, and at the top side we have here this little slit which is supposed to serve us acoustics, fine acoustics. Okay, so this is the sound test that we usually rely on. Okay, so excellent bass, pretty nice high notes. There is no vibration and no distortion. I basically have nothing to complain about. And when we go here to our series of tests, we achieve 80.2 decibels with the top speaker and 96.2 decibels with the bottom speaker. One of the biggest differences ever. The stereophony is not well balanced. It's clear that the bottom speaker is doing all the heavy lifting. With this value here, I would say we definitely surpassed the Galaxy A56, Motorola Edge 60 Fusion, most mid-rangers from this year, and all flagships basically. When it comes to gaming, we achieved 98.3 decibels, a pretty good score considering that lately we only achieved 95 tops with all the mid-range phones and all the flagships. The device also has technologies like clear calling, which reduces background noise during calls. There's also live caption to automatically translate speaking. Okay, so camera-wise, it's time to talk about the camera. So this little punch hole here is a 13 megapixel shooter, the same one from the Pixel 8a, 4K filming at 30 frames per second, and this one is an ultra-wide camera, so you're getting a lot of scenario around you. At the back side, we have a dual setup, 48 megapixel main sensor, f1.7 aperture, optical image stabilization, dual pixel phase detection, autofocus. It's supposed to be superior to the one of the Pixel 8a. It was a 64 megapixel sensor. Then we have a 13 megapixel ultra-wide camera with f2.2 aperture, 120 degree angle. This is an ultra-wide and also does macro on account of the autofocus. This is the LED flash, and you can shoot up to 4K 60 frames per second with this setup here. Google's technologies include Ultra HDR, best take, pixel shift. We even have an astrophotography mode, and I think I showed you more when it came to the unboxing, so let's not insist too much on it. Now let's get straight to the samples. Now the selfies look excellent, even though I would say that there is a little bit of extra beautification going on here. There's a lot of detail. You can see the skin pores and all the slight details of the face, which show the facial expression and what the person was feeling at a certain point in time. Even though you're taking them vertically or horizontally, you'll be very happy with the results. And of course, the bokeh is excellent. The Google algorithms have helped a lot with the bokeh, portrait, or whatever you want to call it, through the years. Okay, so we have several more selfies here in a darker area. I'm actually happier with the selfies in the darker area. I like the exposure more here, and you're getting a lot of scenery behind, courtesy of the very wide angle of the front camera. Quite good colors here, even though it's a background scenario, quite good colors. Okay, so selfie checks out. Now, when it comes to the macro, we also have that. I attempted to pull off several macros and several close-ups of flowers because it's spring, and the results were excellent, as you can see, with objects as well. Excellent focus in very close close-up, which is pretty cool. And here you can actually see there's a logo here with a little flower showing us it's a macro. So yes, excellent focus in close-up. I'm glad that we got rid of the trend of the dedicated macro 2 megapixel or 5 megapixel cameras. I have to say it's not actual macro, you don't get in the flower, but the close-ups are excellent. Okay, so let's talk colors. You already saw some of those. I'm also very happy with what the colors are achieved here. This is a playground, and there's a lot of color for the toys of the little ones, and everything is excellent. The blues, the reds, the yellows. I don't feel any over-processed, over-saturated, or overexposed colors. I would say everything is perfect. There's also an area with some vegetation. We can see various hues of green here on the main camera and on the ultra-wide camera as well. It's a pretty solid ultra-wide camera. And let's see. Yeah, this is a greenhouse, and here you have several shades of green, all of them perfectly shown. By the way, we have a lot of shots of the sky, as you can see for yourself, and the color is just as I perceived it with my naked eye, which is pretty cool. Now, when it comes to the ultra-wide, as I mentioned before, I have zero complaints for the ultra-wide. Doesn't change the colors, doesn't drop the details, as you can see here, and doesn't deform the objects. So quite happy with the result achieved here. And I even tested the zoom. This is something like 3x, and this is even 5 or 6x, and things are quite good even at this level. I would say maybe above the the iPhone 16e. So that's pretty impressive. Some magnolia flowers, close-ups and ultra-wides and very close close-ups. Excellent texture here. Even though this is actually a zoomed shot, you can see all the small textures of the petal here. Quite impressive. So Google, when it comes to details, impresses, the colors as well, and even the zoom is fine. These are daytime photos. Now let's talk about nighttime photos. Okay, so to be honest, I actually did this chronologically. I first took the nighttime shots, and then the following day I took the daytime shots. So let's see what I found. First of all, the selfies are quite okay. Ignore my playful face. It was snowing outside, and I was happy to get some snow even in early April, believe it or not. Excellent rendering of the face, even though it was very dark in the park here, and very nifty close-ups. I could even see the snowflakes in some areas. You can see them for yourself. This is an actual snowflake caught at night in very close close-ups. The night mode is obviously the star of the show. This is a regular shot, this is a night mode shot, equalizing the lights and darker areas better. I took some live photos, and I have to say that the street light halos are quite okay in size. It's faring much better than the iPhone 16e in both quantity of light, size of the halos, and efficiency of the night mode. Regular shot and night mode shot. It doesn't make them necessarily brighter, but what it does is that makes them more equalized. This is a dark regular shot, and this is the night shot. To be honest, this one is too bright, too lit up to seem like a regular night photo. So all in all, I'm pretty happy. Even the selfie camera delivered, which nobody expects it to deliver on a mid-range phone at night. And the colors are fine. I know they're a bit more cold and bluish, but even the ultra-wide, which usually disappoints at night, even that one delivered. So quite good capture at night as well. Okay, we've talked enough about the photos. I think we can actually discuss the videos now. Videos are here, and let's turn down the volume a little bit. This is a stabilization test. Ascending a set of stairs and then continuing on. Excellent stabilization, nothing to complain about. We actually have an extra stabilization test, which is this one here. We're descending towards the subway. This is not as impressive because once the light disappears and it gets darker, you can see that there's a bit of trepidation and vibration of the image. My favorite test here has got to be this one. I've tried to focus close up on an object, and somehow I focused on the fly, which is very small. It's a very small object to focus on, and alternating the focuses shows us how accurate and fast the focus is. Lots of clarity and pretty good details, nothing to complain about the colors as well. These are the colors. I know the exposure is a bit higher compared to the one of the photos, And this is, by the way, a zoom test. Things are fine up to, I would say, 2x, 3x. But the jump between zooms is a bit violent, a bit abrupt for me. But once again, the colors are fine, if not a bit exposed compared to the daytime. Okay, so this is a selfie video, quite the wide angle, quite good clarity, pretty nice face rendering, okay exposure. And I think I actually did two tests because one of them should have an extra stability. Oh, I remember. Actually, one of them has a special voice enhancement feature. Speech enhancement. Ca să vedem cum se descurcă microfoanele când nu ai speech enhancement. This is the one without and this is the one with. The voice has more bass, it's crisper, so yeah, speech enhancement actually works if you're a vlogger. This is the daytime capture. I'm pretty happy with the result. Good clarity, no ghosting, a bit higher exposure in the sun, and that's pretty much everything. Now, during the nighttime, this is actually the weak spot of the phone. If it has any weakness, that's probably the low light video capture. There's noise, the halos are quite big, there's a bit of shakiness, and objects have weird contours. To be honest, it was snowing a lot. It was actually, the phenomenon is called frozen rain. And we even have a selfie video, which looks like HD 720p rather than full HD or 4K. So yeah, these are the obvious limitations of nighttime capture, but even so, I would say it fared better than the iPhone 16e. Okay, the camera is done, and now it's time to talk about connectivity. So this mid-range handset provides you with the following. We got Wi-Fi 6E, we got Bluetooth 5.3, GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, BDS, QZSS, Navic, NFC, and an USB-C 3.2 port at the bottom side. We're used to having 2.0 on a mid-range phone like we have on the iPhone 16e. There's no infrared here at the top. The calls are pretty loud and clear. When it comes to the speed test, it definitely delivered. So if you go here to the speed test and we press this one, we have some excellent results. Let me be. Okay, so in 5G we got up to 576 mega per second downloads and 43.8 mega per second uploads, which is quite fine. And when it comes to Wi-Fi, 693 over 717. Nothing to complain about here. And finally, we can discuss the software. The phone runs on Android 15 from the factory. It's pre-installed, and we're getting a clean, typical Pixel experience, and we're supposed to get 7 years of Android software updates and periodical feature drops and monthly patches. There's also some AI features here. So yeah, the interface is minimalistic, stock and fluid as we know it. You can get your customization from here, wallpaper and style, themed icons, color contrast, app grid, customize your lock screen however you want to, and of course mess around with those good looking widgets. Of course, this is the drop down area for your notifications, and this one, actually they're not separate, excuse me. So these are together, the quick settings and notifications are together. This is the notification and these are the quick settings. During the configuration of the phone, you can choose to pre-install Chrome and use Google as your predefined search engine, which is something that the European Union has forced them to do. Okay, so the AI is manifested, for example, in the photos with the features that are already famous. So let's choose a random photo. You press edit here and you can already get some suggestions on things to do. Dynamic, enhance, vivid, luminous, radiant, amber, airy, afterglow. We got a crop area here. We got your tools here. The tools are also AI based. We got best take, which actually selects from a series of shots and chooses the best one. So if there's a group of friends, one is smiling, one has closed eyes, chooses. You can blur or unblur, and you have magic eraser to delete objects and people. If I want to delete this object, it's gone with a mask behind it. You can also camouflage this one here. You should be able to hide it and reset once you're done. Okay, of course there's adjustments, filters, markup, and motion. You can actually export frames. If you're taking a moving photo, you can actually keep the best frame from the small video you created. You also have auto frame and reimagine for your photo composition. I know a mate of mine showed me an interesting thing. So if you want to do some cool editing here, you can go to a photo like this, press here, And you can see this icon here, which allows you to maybe even reimagine a part of the shot. You can actually reimagine it using keywords. A red flower. So you're going to turn a purple or blue flower into a red flower with AI. You can also change the number of petals and improvise, add other elements to it. Here we are with a red flower instead of the blue one. And there are multiple versions to choose from. How cool is this? All with the power of AI. Now, stop it. Okay, and once again, we go here. Got a flower here. You press here. And you can do your tweaks. Reimagine background, auto frame, portrait and stylized. These are the tools with AI which will help you. Now let's talk about Gemini. On board we have Gemini 2.0 Flash, which will become more than your assistant. It's a daily companion. So if you keep this pressed, what can you do? These are the things it can do. You can write emails, refine your work, learn something new, create summaries, boost creativity, generate images, compose a song, correct source code, and you can interact with it via the camera, via the gallery, upload files, or take them from your Google Drive. You can show it photos of your fridge and it can tell you recipes. You can show it yoga poses that you're doing with suggestions to correct them. It can work with several documents. And once again, it can generate images, call restaurants for you, play Spotify playlist, and control smart home devices. Now, there are some new things here, like for example, Gemini Live. You can actually talk with it naturally, even show it your camera, or you can also share the screen. So, share screen with Live. What's on my screen?
I see a Google Pixel phone screen with the Gemini app active. It looks like you're ready to start a conversation. What's on your mind?
How should I rearrange these icons?
Okay, there are a few ways you could rearrange these icons. You could group similar apps together, like putting all your games in one spot and productivity apps in another. Or
what should I change about this website's design?
Okay, looking at the website, there are a few things that could be changed to improve its design. The green and gray colors make it a little hard to read the text. Maybe using a lighter background with darker text would help.
Okay, so that's one of the cool things you can do via a feature drop which has happened over the past month. The screen sharing feature you saw before is also useful when you're on a call with a person and you want to show that person your screen so you can both talk about what you had on your screen at that point, like a movie, I don't know, a picture, you're working with someone on a document. But the coolest feature is that once you're in Gemini, you can switch to Gemini Live. This is conversational. I can interrupt it and it can understand what I want. What are the newest features of Gemini Live?
Gemini Live is getting a lot of cool new features. One of the biggest is that it can now connect to other apps, so you can use it with things like YouTube, Maps, and Search. It's also getting better at understanding and talking about images, and it can even generate images in more languages.
Anyway, let me show you the cool feature. So this one here shares the screen, and this one here uses the camera, and I can even reverse it. Do I have bags under my eyes?
Okay, I see you're showing me the screen and the camera, and you can even reverse it. You asked if you have bags under your eyes, and I can see some mild under-eye circles. Is there anything else I can help you with?
What should I do about the bags under my eyes?
There are a few things you can try for the bags under your eyes. Getting enough sleep and staying hydrated can help. You could also try a cold compress or some cucumber slices. If they're really bothering you, there are cosmetic options like concealer.
What do you see here?
I see a broken bowl with a blue and white pattern. It looks like it might have been a clean break, but it's definitely in pieces now.
How should I fix it?
You could try gluing the pieces back together. There are special glues for ceramics that might work. Or you could embrace the Japanese art of kintsugi and repair it with gold to highlight the cracks.
Wow. I just learned something new. Okay, so I have to say something, an anecdote. A mate of mine had a broken fuse on his electric panel and used this feature to find out how he can fix it and how to order a new fuse online. In the meantime, what do you see?
Okay, I see a box of Dr. Max Vitamin D3. Are you wondering about the benefits of vitamin D3?
How
Any
much
other questions about it?
should I take per day? How much IU?
The box indicates each capsule contains 1000 IU of vitamin D3. However, I can't give you medical advice on how much to take. It's best to consult with a doctor or other qualified healthcare professional.
Okay, so you get the idea. That's about it. This is Gemini Live, very conversational, very helpful. And to top it off, to end it all, we have circle to search, which basically keep this pressed here, and you can circle anything that's on the screen. I actually wanted to find out where that wallpaper comes from. It's actually downtown San Francisco. I didn't know that. I just learned something new. Related searches, of course, and keep it this pressed also lets you find a song next to you or translate the screen. And that's my whole experience with the AI features of the phone. And now it's time for the verdict. So on the pro side, we got an excellent battery life, a very, very, very bright screen, USB-C 3.2, which is fast, 5G, which is fast, 7 years of Android updates. The main camera is excellent for stabilization, clarity, colors, and night mode. Very precise focus in close-ups. Not half bad ultra-wide compared to expectations from a mid-range phone. Google Gemini Live with screen share and a camera is so good that it scares me, to be honest. We also have AI in other languages, like in Romanian. Galaxy AI received it late. Apple Intelligence doesn't have it. Pretty impressive acoustics for such a compact phone, no overheating, and good microphones when filming. Those are the pros. On the cons, there's no charger in the box. The charge is a bit slow. There's quite a bit of difference between the volume of the bottom and the top speaker. The bezels of the phone, the edges of the screen are very thick compared to the price you're paying here. It's pretty heavy, it's pretty thick and slightly slippery if you don't use a case. There's serious throttling and the performance doesn't sound future-proof from the Tensor processor. There's no telephoto camera and the zoom is too abrupt when changing zoom levels. Finally, the low-light video capture is underwhelming. So, who would buy the Google Pixel 9a? I can tell you exactly who would. People will buy it as a secondary phone. So I'm the kind of guy who has an iPhone 16 Pro Max and usually has an older iPhone like an iPhone 13 or 12 next to it. Or I could even buy the 16e. However, I won't. This is an excellent secondary phone. It's an excellent way to access the AI, which is much better than Apple Intelligence. And it's also, I would say, superior overall as a package compared to the Galaxy A56. The design is a bit ugly, I'll admit that, but if you can get past that, and if you're not a gamer, because the Tensor G4 is not for gaming, this can be an excellent AI tool for productivity and a pretty solid camera to take with you on a holiday or just the day-to-day use. Once it gets to $399, it's a definite hit. I would only buy it for Gemini Live, main camera photos, night sight, and selfies. That's it from GSMDome.com. Goodbye.